Block party turning up the volume. Miller on the slide. Game, set, match.
Spectacular crowd inside Mackey Arena. Purdue builds a huge lead.
It's all! The hammer! Purdue is going to beat Tennessee here at the Broadway Block Party.
It is down. History for Dave Shondell. The all-time wins leader at Purdue.
Welcome back to the Dig City Podcast, brought to you by Franciscan Health, the official medical provider of Purdue Athletics. I'm Cory Palm. He's head coach Dave Shondell, and Coach, we're taping this on a Monday because you guys have a midweek at Minnesota this week, and some travel plans get in the way of our normal Tuesday taping. So, really, thank you for finding a window for us here on a Monday afternoon.
Well, I know you've been busy today, Cory. Lots of podcasts going on around here, and sometimes it's hard for me this time of year to know what day it is.
I believe that.
We've been playing on all different days of the week here lately, whether it be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Had a Sunday night match last night, which we don't have a lot of Sunday evening.
No, that's for sure.
That was one of the first that I can remember having. And then this week we go Wednesday up at Minnesota. Gophers are number 15 in the RPI, and they're battling hard to try to host a match on their home court, so that will be a real Jim Dandy up there. As you remember, we came out of nowhere to beat them at home after being down 2 sets to 0. Mm-hmm. 3 sets it would have been.
That's harder to come back, yeah.
And came back and beat them, and they have played very, very well here as of late and won a lot of matches, so I know it will be a hotly contested affair. They're trying to host. We feel like we kind of got that locked down, but you never know. It's not in your hands necessarily. Then we come back on Saturday for, I think we could probably do a whole show about the need to pack Mackey Arena on Saturday night. Indiana has the best volleyball team in their school history. Mm-hmm. Their RPI is 13 or 14, depending on what time of the day you look at it. They've had a fantastic season. I just saw one of their players was a second-round pick in the Major League Volleyball.
Oh, okay.
And good for her. Candy, their left-side hitter, who's from Spain, I believe. And they got another left-side hitter that's awfully good, and a great setter, and middles that are young but athletic, and a right-side player that's also a senior that I'm surprised hasn't shown up on the draft yet. It's just going on as we speak. But they've got a great team, and we have to. And I'm not looking past Minnesota, don't get me wrong. I can't control how many Purdue fans show up in Minnesota. But I'd like to have some influence on the amount of fans that show up in Mackey Arena.
Yeah.
Right now our number is right around 11,000 that we have tickets sold. And last year, with a pretty good team early in the season, we packed Mackey Arena. We sold about 12,000 seats in about one day. And here we got this team that is just a storybook season and has played over their heads, according to most people. And now we're going to play Indiana the afternoon after the bucket game. Mm-hmm. We need people to stick around from that bucket game and get into Mackey Arena, maybe the best sports venue in college athletics.
Totally agree.
To watch that match and cheer our team on. We need you in Mackey Arena. So if nothing else on this show, let's stir some people up. We're currently 23-5. We are at this point in time 3rd place in the Big Ten, behind Nebraska, who's number 1 in the country, and Wisconsin, who's like 8th or 9th in the country. And then you have Purdue right behind us. Nipping at our tails is Indiana in 4th place. Mm-hmm. So it's a monster game. It has some ramifications of NCAA seeding, whether or not we get to host for sure or not. Yep. So it's Indiana and Purdue. I'm not sure what more we want than that. And I would like to see as many fans that haven't gotten their tickets yet, let's get on board. This is a group worthy of your support. So that'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon this coming Saturday, the last home match of the season for our Boilermakers.
And as we talked about last week, it will not be on television. So the way to watch it, if you're not here, is via Big Ten Plus streaming. But we completely understand. As someone who's in charge of that program here at Purdue, it is not as accessible as your
chance to be in Mackey
channels.
Arena for a rivalry match.
You get in there and make your voice heard.
That means as much as this one does. Best IU team in school history.
Yep.
Best Hoosier team in school volleyball history. They're coming in here. They got one thing on their mind, and that's beating Purdue.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get out. Let's support this Boilermaker team.
We'll probably pitch you again before the show's over. We're going to talk about results from this past weekend ahead. We're going to preview a little bit more in depth strategically the Minnesota and Indiana matches and sort of give look at the national landscape here with 1 week to go in the regular season. Last night, Coach, like you said, it was a Sunday night primetime match against Northwestern. They came in, the Boilermakers took care of it 3-1. A very balanced approach. It seemed like a whole lot of stuff went right last night. What did you like about your team's performance?
Well, I think it started a lot with first ball contact from Ryan McAleer and Julia Kane, and as the match wore on, a lot more of Kenna Woolard and Cash Anderson. We had one stretch where they had a top spin jump server who has been lights out all year. She made it tough on us in that first set. Even though we won the first set, she had a string like 3 aces in a row, which is not characteristic of our squad to give up that, but we did. And but bounced back and won that one 25-22. But we passed the ball really well the rest of the night, and we have one of the elite setters in America right now. Taylor Anderson has just blossomed into just this amazing setter that can run balls down, can play balls around the net. She's like a ballerina on the volleyball floor at times, okay? I don't know if that's what she would like to be referred to or not.
She might,
but
actually.
Her ability to go around the net and make plays on balls that are actually on their way over the net because of her length and her jumping ability, her athleticism, is just remarkable for me to watch. I've not seen anything like it. And then she sets the middle the way she did last night. It's like, we've been really encouraging her, and she's done a great job in practice, but this was really the first time where she said, you know what, I'm going to get the middles of the ball. And passing has something to do with that. And then the look in the eye of our middles has a lot to do with it as well. But between Dior Charles and Lindsay Miller, they had about 25 kills between the two of them last night, just hammering balls, being up early, being up quick. And just once we got rolling after the intermission and we got into set number 3, it was a sight to behold to watch this Purdue team. We'd struggled with 2 losses to Oregon, 17-15 in the 5th, went up to Wisconsin, got beat 26-24 in the 1st, and then didn't really get much done after that. And so this was an opportunity for us to get off that bad feeling of how we played at Wisconsin, and at the end of the night, everybody that's a Boilermaker fan was feeling really good about the way this team played.
Well, and you talk about the middles, to have your full complement of middles to be able to say, okay, we have 3 healthy players. Which ones do we want to put in there? That's not a flexibility you've had a lot this season.
No. And I talked to our 3 middles right in a team meeting. I said, listen, we have 3 middles that are playing at a high level right now, and it's really hard for myself and our staff to make a decision on who should be playing. And, when we went to Wisconsin, we went with the veteran players, a senior, grad student senior, and Lindsay Miller and Dior Charles, because we thought that they would be better against that kind of talent. Well, it worked out that Bianca Lulich, the transfer from Miami to Florida, came in and was our best middle, about halfway through the match. Well, we went back with the same 2 veterans last night after I talked to them about the fact that it really doesn't matter who starts, it's who finishes. Okay, and but we didn't have to go to the bench. We didn't even have to go to Bianca, the 6'5" sophomore. That's going to be a great player for us, just a tremendous player. But because Dior Charles and Lindsay Miller played so well, and what a great job that our ball control was in getting the ball to the setter, and what a great job that Taylor did at getting the ball to the middles. We ran it like clockwork last night. It
was awesome to see, no doubt about that. You mentioned McAleer, 19 digs.
Best match, in my opinion, of her career here. She was digging everything. She was being aggressive. But those are kind of in her wheelhouse. What hasn't always been in her wheelhouse has been the ability to serve rockets over the net. And to bring back a term, I think, from a war long ago, she was serving Scud missiles, is what I like to say, okay? And low to the net with pace, deep on the court. And I know it had to catch them a little bit by surprise because it caught me a little bit by surprise. But we've been talking about the value of serving, and I put John Klanick and Emily Hill this past couple weeks of being in charge of turning around our serving to make it tougher than what they're serving us. And last night, it was a real indication of the job that those two coaches have done, because we served the ball extremely tough last night, and that was a difference in the game, because Northwestern came in as the best serving team in the league. They have 4 players in the top 18 in service aces in the league. Okay, that's pretty impressive.
It is.
And they did serve tough. But I thought our ball control was good and our serving was good. And once we got rolling in the second half of that match, we were really good.
So I think that you hit on something there that I think is fascinating to me as a layperson. You know, I'm a fan first and foremost. It is it's late November. You guys have been in season now for 3 months. And
we finally decided to serve tough?
No.
Okay.
And a top 10 team. Things have been going really well,
Yeah.
but it's still not enough, and you're constantly looking, where can we get better? We can get better at serving. Okay, let's keep focusing on that. Let's keep working on that. Let's add something else to the toolbox.
And we've kind of changed how we're going about doing that. And I'm not going to get into a lot of details
Good.
about where we're serving and where we feel like we can attack people, but it's a combination of things. And I think that our players finally now have gotten enough serves under their belt where they feel comfortable going to some of those areas that we feel like we need to attack our opponent with the most success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every opponent's different. You know, it may be that, you know, we want to serve them short to disrupt their middle attack and confuse them, or maybe they got a DS that comes in the game that's not a great passer. We want to go at them. Maybe it's their left side players. After they pass, they're not as effective running their routes and attacking the ball, so we want to put the serve on them. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So you have to have some flexibility in your servers, but the deeper the season goes, the better they're going to become.
True.
At being able to serve the ball and find some rhythm. But I thought last night Foster came off, did a great job. Rachel Williams didn't get into the match until maybe in the second set, late in the second set she got in, and then I think her first serve was an ace.
Yep.
And that's what you want to have when you bring in a serving specialist, is have a really tough serve right out of the gate. But no, the serving was good, and what a great crowd again we had last night. Block party in full force. Last match in the regular season
Yep.
that we were playing in Holloway Gym, and it was a slow developing crowd. I think when the national anthem was played, I was looking around thinking, I hope there's a line out there waiting to get in, and there was, because we had every seat filled last night.
Yeah, and a slow developing crowd, but they were no doubt heard.
Raucous crowd.
Definitely made a difference by the time that match was over. Like you said, it started off close, very close. 25-22 in the first goes your way. 26-24 goes against you.
Yeah.
And then coming out of the break, whatever adjustments that were made, and I know coaches don't wait till halftime to make adjustments or the intermission to make adjustments. That's kind of a fallacy.
That's one time where you actually have some time.
You have some time to
do
get
your team's attention.
Yeah.
Without the timeout being 75 or 90 seconds, and you've got to figure some things out and go in and talk to your team, and some are paying attention and some aren't. But when you get them back into in our case, back in our video room, we have a little more time, 5-minute break, to at least, refocus them if that's what we needed to do. And in that case, we need to kind of dial up the focus a little bit in a few areas. And then they came out, and Kenna Woolard, turned it on. I thought she was really good. There, Grace Heaney, I think, snapped out of things somewhere into the second set. We started getting her the ball, and she had a great match. She's really difficult to stop at this point in time. And again, it's not just the hitting. It's the ability for our passers to get the ball to a setter, and a setter that a year ago had a hard time making that set to the right side player.
Right.
Is now making it from anywhere on the floor and putting on a dime. She's putting it right there where that left-hander can go up and get the ball, or a slide hitter, as we did a lot last night.
8-8 in the third set, and then you guys ran away with it. And then momentum carried into the fourth set, and it was all over. But the shouting, it's just a really great performance by the Boilermakers, no doubt, to get to that 14th Big Ten win, 14-4 now, with 2 matches to play. I mean, who could ask for more?
Well, we could ask for more. We've lost a couple.
Could also,
A couple that I felt like got away from us that shouldn't have. I would look at Illinois when we were in a position to win the fourth set, big lead late in the fray, and let that get away. And then Oregon, where we were up 13-10 in the fifth, and found a way to drop that one. But we've also won some that nobody in Vegas was pointing in our direction.
Right.
So at the end of the day, 14-4 is a pretty good record in our conference for anybody, really. So now, can we go 16-4?
Yep.
That's the question. We got 2 really tough matches this week.
Let's go ahead and talk about those 2 matches after the break. This is the Dig City Podcast.
The Dig City Podcast is brought to you by Franciscan Health, the exclusive healthcare provider for Purdue Athletics. Franciscan, inspiring health, working for a better tomorrow. Go to franciscanhealth.org for more information. Now, back to the show.
At Minnesota Wednesday, IU here on Saturday. These are your final 2 matches of the season. Also, both double plays. The second time you're seeing the Gophers, second time you're seeing the Hoosiers. How much does that help at this point? And obviously it helps both, if it helps at all.
Well, I think from the opposing team standpoint, I think when somebody beats you during the regular season and you feel like you're pretty similar in talent and ability, you have a motivational factor, I think, that can work to your advantage. I think with IU, it doesn't matter what's happened before. You better have your shoes laced up pretty tight whenever you're going to play the biggest rival, one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports. Minnesota was a team that we stormed back and beat after being down 2-0, as we discussed. I don't think either team has changed a ton during that time. Both will probably start similar lineups. Both teams are playing better, I think, than they were at that point in time. But I think you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We'll go back and we'll start watching tape. Obviously, we played last night. We'll be watching film of Minnesota at 3 o'clock today, and we'll go back over and review their personnel, what their hitters look like, what kind of shots that they have a tendency to hit. We'll then look at today their serve-receive patterns and what they like to run out of certain serve-receive situations, and maybe who we're going to serve balls to in those patterns. And then tomorrow, we'll look at their servers on film, and then we'll look at their defense, so we have an idea of how we're going to attack. And we will do some things differently. I can promise you that, than what we did the last time that we played them. But this is a Minnesota team that was riddled with some injuries early, but they got some freshmen on the floor that, in my opinion, needed to be on the floor because they're that talented. It's a great freshman class. Keegan Cook does a really good job, from what I understand, of preparing for matches. So we'll accept that challenge, and try to see what we can do to get ready to play. Minnesota was a team that we really struggled with for a long time. I mean, Mike Hebert was there when I first got here, a legendary coach that I have great respect for. Then Hugh McCutcheon, the former Olympic team coach for both the men and the women, took over, so that wasn't chopped liver, okay? And now Keegan Cook, who had great success at the University of Washington, including a couple Final Fours that he was involved in, he's there now. So you better bring it, when you're going to play Minnesota, especially when you go on the road. Last year, it was a 5-setter up there. I think it was the match when we served a bunch of aces at them. Julia Kane was kind of the ringleader of that program. But it'll be a great match. But again, we know enough about them that the preparation should be a little bit easier. It's just, what are we going to do differently, or what are we going to do better than we did the last time we played them?
That's really what it is. Even when you're a little bit better than somebody, you can't stay stagnant. You've got to keep improving.
But they have, in my opinion, one of the 4 best players in the league, or 4 or 5 best offensive players in the league. Julia Hansen, who's, again, similar in size to Kenna Woolard. I mean, she's not a really big left side hitter, but she's springy and she's fast and she hits the ball really hard. And so that's always where you start when you're getting ready to play them, is how are you going to try to contain that kind of a left side player. Then they've got a freshman named Kinney that is really, really good on the left as well, maybe a little bit bigger, probably 6'2" and a half, that is playing really, really well right now. They have a right side player that's a lefty that wasn't playing all the time early, and I think finally she won that spot out, and she's hard to handle. So two of the 3 pin hitters are freshmen, and then in the middle they've got Lourdes Myers, who went 7 for 9 last night, or the last match they played. Yeah, it was yesterday, in beating Rutgers. Watched some of that this morning on film, And they also have a big kid named Taylor. I think she's 6'6" in the middle spot. Freshman setter, or redshirt freshman setter that is talked about a lot by the national media. So we know who they are. They know who we are. It's, how valuable is the match going to be, and how well prepared will your team be, both with what we've given them and just emotionally.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Wednesday night.
Yes, it is.
Fly home Wednesday night after the match. I'm sure you've got a little bit of we were talking a little bit this morning. Coach is on the For Pete's Sake podcast. There's somewhere else you can watch him this week. If you're watching this and get done with this,
we're in the same attire.
Right.
Didn't change clothes.
Taped it a couple hours after,
yeah.
But he'll be on that. And you were mentioning it a little bit, the Thanksgiving plans on that. Of course, you've got to practice. You're in season, but it's going to be a little bit different because the next match is in Mackey Arena as well. So
it is a big difference.
It is.
And we've talked a little bit about this in the past. The difference of playing in Holloway, in Mackey, are kind of like the difference of playing in high school gym and Mackey Arena.
Right.
For people that have not been in Holloway gym, but our Holloway gym is smallish, holds about 2,500, as I like to say, and bleachers are right on top of the floor, and it's familiar for our players.
Yeah.
We go into Mackey Arena, now you're going up to 14,800, whatever that might be. Ceiling much higher. Mm-hmm. Lighting is much different. They've got a little bit better lighting situation over there.
They do.
The budget's a little higher over at Mackey.
They've been working on it for a lot of years,
it has
too.
been in Holloway. They've done a great job with making Mackey Arena maybe the ideal sports venue in the country. And so we get a chance to go in there. Obviously, background's a little bit different, but it's not a bad background for passing the ball, which is what you're thinking about. Is it bright? Is it something that's going to be different? But it really isn't. It's not a bad place to step into and play the sport of volleyball.
Okay.
You've got a scoreboard that's high enough that it's not going to really get in the way. I'm sure we've probably hit it before, but not very often. But the big difference that is in our favor is, instead of having 2,500 Boilermakers in there, we now have the potential to have 14,800 Boilermaker fans in there, which can make a lot more noise than what they can in Holloway. So again, that's the hope.
That is the hope. Thanksgiving after practice, having the team out to the place.
We're going into Holloway, and there's a basketball game the next day, so we had to squeeze our practice in between our men's team getting done with their practice, and I think it's Eastern Illinois.
It is there.
And maybe charging in here to Mackey with high hopes. But so we go from around noon until 2. Our players will then have an opportunity to get ready and change clothes and hopefully shower, and drive out to beautiful Lake Freeman, where I'm currently residing with my beautiful wife Angie, and we are catering in that meal. Angie's not having to feed 45 people, but we're going to have 45 people there.
She'd be cooking turkeys now as we speak.
And so we're hoping that we have enough space to take care of everybody, and I think that we do. We wouldn't have probably made plans to arrange it, but we will have Thanksgiving out on Lake Freeman off Sandy Beach Road, and I like doing that for the team. The team enjoys having that, I think, together. It's really important, and this team, I think it's pretty much fitting that we would have Thanksgiving together and have the opportunity to be home, as opposed to a lot of years we're on the road and we're eating in a restaurant.
That is so much better, so much more quality time in the friendly confines of your home. You've talked all season long, beginning in training camp, about how close this team seemed, and the fact that it is near the wrap-up of the regular season.
It still had changed.
That's still true. No, that's great, because that can change,
Yeah.
and that can really affect the season's outcome.
I really felt we met our first adversity in the past week. We had lost some matches, but we hadn't lost 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we lose that 17-15 ding-donger with Oregon, okay? And then we go on the road and don't play real well at Wisconsin. Wisconsin was really, really good. Wisconsin's playing at a high level. Let me just people understand
they're
that
peaking
right now.
at the moment.
When their setter Furbringer came back, it was like they just shifted it into another gear, and off they went down the road. And so how are we going to respond to it? Because we just, a lot of teams have a lot of adversity. The only adversity we had was having a few injuries along the way, but we managed. We maintained pretty good volleyball, and then we had 2 in a row. And sometimes you wonder who we're going to beat, when are we going to win again?
Right.
And fortunately, we nipped that in the bud last night when we came out and played really well against Northwestern. And now I think that we're right back where we want to be. I think Kenna Woolard, who'd had the ankle sprain in a match about 2 weeks ago, I think it affected her physically. But I also think when that happens, it affects you emotionally. Are you going to be able to hit the same kind of shots that have made you an All-American candidate during the season? And I think, she was really, really good at Wisconsin in set 1, but she was really good in the last 2 sets last night. Yeah. So I think that's a real emotional lift for her as we move forward into this final week of regular season play.
That is, I'm glad you mentioned Kenna's ankle because she didn't really miss any time with it.
No,
when it happened,
felt like we couldn't afford it, and
right.
we almost twisted her arm to get her into that match against Oregon.
Yep.
And she was pretty good in that match,
well.
everything considered.
So it's easy to glaze over that type of an injury because she played through it.
Wasn't that long ago?
Still
When you think
thing.
about it, it was really less than 2 weeks ago. It was
Yeah.
about 10 days ago.
Good to hear that she is still
She's
on the upswing.
She is one tough kid,
Mm-hmm.
and she cares about this team, and she's going to do whatever she can to help this team win matches.
Saturday afternoon, the Hoosiers come in.
Alumni match too.
It is.
It's
Get
alumni
a good group
day.
coming.
Well, we've got the biggest group we've ever had.
Oh,
We're
wow,
approaching
okay.
40 alumni that will be back, and about 160 people.
That's awesome.
That are coming. So those people are going on and produce families.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a big group, and I'm looking forward to that. And I've said all along, for our alumni, what more do you want to support than what's happened this year, where these people have kept that legacy alive?
Yes.
The legacy that all these alumni helped build, NCAA tournament team. And here we are back in the NCAA tournament once again. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about what that means. But I looked at the list just today. I hadn't seen it. I asked Carrie Gurnell, our tremendous operations person, who wears about 19 different hats in one day, to share that list with me, and she did. And it's a great list from Kelly Miller to Kim McConaughey to going back to people that played way before I even was a thought here at Purdue. Yep. So we love them all, and we're happy they're all coming back. And I'd like to get that number to 50 if we can. It's Alumni Day at 3 o'clock. No better time to come back and watch than in Mackey Arena against Indiana University, who's got their best team they've ever had.
And if you haven't seen Purdue volleyball in Mackey Arena, I know that you guys have played there over the years, here and there, a couple times to great acclaim last year and earlier this season. There's no environment like that arena and this sport.
I mean, people talk about how great Holloway is, and it is Holloway. Holloway Jim has been considered to be the best home court advantage in the Big Ten. I mean, it's not a secret.
Yep.
But when we go to Mackey Arena, it can actually get better. I think if we played consistently in there, it would be.
I think so.
The only difference is that's not your home court, per se.
Right.
And so you got to be prepared and make some of those emotional, mental adjustments and get comfortable in there. But I think it's the third match we've played this year in Mackey. It shouldn't be a new situation for us. We should be ready to go.
Well, and like Coach said, there's about 3,000 tickets left. You might want to get those now because those 3,000 tickets, if you wait till Friday to decide, they might be gone. So get on that.
We have a big football game here the night before. So I don't think all those people are going to jump in their vehicles and drive home after that. A lot of them are going to stick around here. And our volleyball program has been one of the premier programs at Purdue for the last 20 years. Okay? I mean, they had some great years before that, too. But women's sports is fun to watch. I think there's sweatshirts that are being made about that right now. And if you haven't been out to see one and you're coming to a football game, okay, and hopefully that our football team will play the way Barry wants them to play, and they'll go out and they'll compete, which I think that they will. As a matter of fact, I will bet that they will, except we don't bet in the NCAA.
Nope.
But I will guarantee you that they will play tough and they will play hard against the number 2 ranked team in the country in Indiana. But hang around and watch this volleyball team. I think they deserve that. A $10 ticket. I think they deserve a $10 ticket from our best IU fan, our best Purdue fans.
Best Purdue fans.
We'll have some IU fans that will make their way up here this year.
We'll welcome them, but they're not welcome. I don't know if that came out right. We all understand. Coach, good luck this week.
Thank you very much. It's been a great season. You want to keep building momentum.
Yep.
You don't want to stub your toe going into the NCAA tournament. You want to build the momentum, and I do think we're going to be playing here, okay, in NCAA tournament play. So tickets will be available for that Sunday night probably.
Yeah.
As soon as that draw comes out, that if we're hosting, it'll be a Thursday, Friday affair. And we're looking forward to just the fact that this team gets a chance to host, if the draw comes out the way that we kind of think it will, is a minor miracle.
Yeah.
If you want to be honest about
It really is. Any plans for a watch party?
Yes.
Public?
Sunday night
Yeah.
in Spurgeon Center, which
Okay.
is just in the southeast corner of Mackey Arena. All comers are welcome. I don't know if there'll be snacks or not, but there'll be volleyball players here, and they'll love to see you. And we'll find out who we're going to play in that NCAA tournament this year.
That RPI, real quick before we run. Next time we talk, we'll be elbow deep in NCAA tournament talk. So currently third place in the Big Ten. We already talked about the record, the standings there, how big these next two matches are for the finish. But RPI hanging strong at 10 or 11?
10 or 11. It's right in that spot. I don't think we could drop. If the worst scenario happened, I don't think you drop anywhere lower than 13 or 14 in the RPI. Our NCAA committee looks really hard at RPI. And, it used to kind of bother me a little bit they didn't have a little bit more of an eye test on things, or maybe consider like KPI or consider other things.
Right.
But that's what they do. And so that's how you schedule now at the start of the season to prepare for that. And right now we're in pretty good shape. I can't expect to be any higher than 11 or 10. So we'll take our draw, and we'll go and we'll play like we have all season long. We're going to play teams that people think are going to be better than us. That's okay.
Yep.
We'll take our chances.
Well, we can't wait to see where that draw comes out. We can't wait to see the Boilermakers on Big Ten Network Wednesday against up at Minnesota, and then in Mackey Arena on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock start time. In case you missed that was a change last week to get a little bit more of that vital rest after that before Selection Sunday.
And also to make it easier for these fans that come in to watch football, not have to wait till 6:30 at night.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, I know they're going to be sleeping well that next day, but 3 o'clock in Mackey Arena, we're playing Indiana in what's going to be one of the best rivalry matches between these two schools in volleyball history. So please consider coming out and watching these kids play.
Can't wait to see it. Coach, good luck.
Thank you, Cory.